Hi, I'm Dr. Dianna, the Deal Breaker, and I'm so excited to do life with you. This is the season that you must be empowered. I want you to join me every Thursday night at 9 p.m. where we can not only grow together, but we can build together. This is your season to go into greater heights, and I want to do it with you. So join me by subscribing to my YouTube channel, as well as like me on Facebook, and let's do it together. Again, I'm Dr. Dianna, the Deal Breaker, and I look forward to doing life with you. Hi guys, thank you so much for joining me. I am Dr. Dianna, the Deal Breaker. I'm so excited to be with you on this Thursday night. Listen, we have some great things we want to share with you. Again, I want to remind everyone to make sure you register for Rejection 101. It's going to be held October the 5th through the 7th. That's Monday through Wednesday, and you can register right now. And all it is $35 for 3 nights. That's from 6:30 to 8:30. I do not want you to allow this to pass you by, but I want you to make sure you register. And I also want you to encourage someone to be a part of this powerful session. We're going to talk about the purpose and why rejection takes place, but most importantly, we're going to talk about the steps to achieving while bleeding. And again, like I've said the other weeks, it does not matter what field you're in, what sector you work in. If you are a leader, You're going to experience some things in your life that sometimes can be traumatizing. It can be life-changing. And sometimes to adapt and to be flexible, to adjust to it can be very challenging. But again, make sure you register. Now, I want to say to all of my deal breakers, thank you, all of my followers. I want you to know I appreciate you. If you have not, you must go right now, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just go there. All the information is right there in the box that you can see there with Facebook. Also, make sure that if you haven't liked my page, that you do so right now. And please share this. I want you to share it with all your friends, all your groups. Allow them to tap in and be a part of what we're going to talk about tonight. Listen, I've been so excited about this particular topic because not only this topic is really real, but this is a topic that really not a lot of people are going to touch. And again, if you notice that the topic for this week is don't lean where you cannot glean. And this is very important because when we talk about the leaning part, it's basically saying being dependable or being reliable or really having expectation for a certain person or certain group. And then you come to find out when you have that certain expectation, somehow it tends to that group or whatever tends to let you down. And you're trying to figure out, hey, what happened? Because all this time I really thought I could gain from this connection. I can grow from this connection. And a lot of times it's not that the connection is bad. It's just the purpose of who you connected to is not connected to your purpose. And so you have to be wise in this season to understand that all of your connections has to have a purpose in your life, but most importantly, they must align to the vision and to the ideas and goals that you have set for yourself. And so we're going to talk about this topic. One of the first things I want you to understand is actually what is glean. What is that word glean? What does glean mean? And when I begin to look at it right here, and it's so amazing, it says to gather, watch this, to learn, and to find out. Let's say it again. It is to gather, it is to learn, and to find out. And this is a process actually that you go through in order to understand the type of relationship you have, but also you can measure it by seeing whether or not you're growing. And so one of the things I want to do tonight, and I want to again thank you all for my first timer. I see some of the first timers are coming on. Thank you so much for being a part on tonight. I am, for those who do not know who I am Dr. Dianna, the deal breaker. And I want to thank all my first timers, all of my repeater followers. Thank you so much. And I just want you to know it means a lot that you're on here and you're ready to learn. Now, if anybody know about me, get your pad and your pen ready. Let's talk. I am a person that likes to provoke your thinking, have you to think outside the box and begin to evaluate yourself to see where you are. And again, this platform is not a churchy platform. We hit on all types of topics. And while I'm thinking about it, I want to go ahead and remind you that after this particular session, we're going to actually have a Zoom private session called the Real Deal Session. And this session, we beginning to get into some really deep conversation. A lot of times it may be on a mature level, so you have to be 18 years and older to be a part of this session. And guess what? The session is free. It's a private session, but it's free. And right there in the box, you can look at it right there. Don't click, don't go nowhere else. Right there in the box, you will see the link in order to be a part of what we're doing. So again, make sure you register. It is free, and you join us right after this broadcast. So let's go back now to Glean. And again, thank you guys. Share. Are you sharing? Are you sharing? Everybody needs to share. Thank you. Thank you. Let's share. Where are my hearts? Where are my hearts? Where are my thumbs? Come on, guys. Let's get into it and make sure you share and make sure you like. If you're going to watch, please like. If you're going to watch, please like. So let's go back. So the first thing we did, we talk about what actually is glean. And we've learned that glean is, again, to gather, to learn, and to find out. But also I've learned in my studying, when I was looking at Glean, it also says you're picking up things that will give you a production, picking up things that will add to your life. So now my first question to you would be this. Those you have connected to and the things that you're doing in this season, will it add to your life? I'm going to say that again. The people you're connected to, or the groups, or the things, or in the environment that you're in the midst in right now, the question is, will it add to your life? You have to ask that hard question. You have to be real with yourself. And if you are connected to individuals, or you're involved in situations that gives you that same old pattern, that allows you to stay in that same old cycle, this particular connection may not be the connection that you need to lean on to. And when you think about leaning, that means something that can support you, build you, increase you, help you, encourage you. And so you have to now look what is around you. And so reason why we wanted to talk about this topic, because it's real. A lot of you watching me right now have been disappointed or let down because you had a certain expectation, or you had a certain hope from the connection that you had. And then you find out later that, hey, I've been with this individual, and it doesn't have nothing to do with necessarily a leader. It could be something, a person in a relationship. It could be your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, your wife. It could be people in your family. It could be colleagues. It could be friends. It could be people that are associated as your study buddy, or it could even be from the church sector, your prayer partner, or whoever it may be. But the question is, this individual or these group of people, or I should say any situation you're connecting to, is it really adding to your life? Is it causing a production in your life? And if the answer is no, then it's now time to make the decision. This is not the place I need to lean. Somebody put in the box, this is the place that I need to lean on. This may not be the place that I need to put my stock into, because it's very important that you not only invest in yourself, but you got to have investors around you. And if you don't have investors around you, then sometimes it's going to be a situation that your investment will not grow. And so one of the things I want you to identify on tonight is the simple fact is this, is that if I'm in a place in my life that I'm ready to grow, if I'm ready to grow, that means everything around me has to support my more. And then the more things that you get more things you begin to tap into, and more things you begin to experience, those things around you, once they increase, then the people around you should help you also increase. So let's just ask this question. I have to be real. How many of you have been in relationships that you really haven't grown from? Or how many of you have been connected to certain covenant situations or things around you that really you still where you were 5 years ago? If there's no change around you, if there's nothing around you that's pushing you or making you go to a higher level, then you really got to evaluate, what are you doing? Because a lot of times I've found that for me personally, if I constantly repeat the same cycle, then I'm going to constantly get the same result. So some of you are going to have to learn how to break some of the cycles. And what I mean by cycles, I mean habits. Some of the things that you consider to be normal in your life, sometimes you got to break that up and try something new. You got to step out the box. And the reality is, if people are not willing to step out with you, then guess what? They can't share some things with you as well. So again, you cannot lean on something or someone that you're not able to glean from. You don't need to just be connected to people and situations just to say you're connected. But if you're going to have that connection, make sure it's worth your while. Make sure that connection or that relationship or that friendship, whatever it may be, is really going to add to you, but also help you and also be real with you. I'm in a season now, I know a lot of you are, you do not want to be connected to individuals that cannot keep it real with you. And what I've learned with a lot of people, not all, but a lot of people, sometimes people cannot handle the realness of individuals. They cannot handle the direct conversations with individuals. And that's the key. You got to make sure you can be with someone or connected to someone that's going to tell you the truth about yourself. Because a lot of times you hurt people people when you're not honest with people. You can damage people when you're not truthful with people. And if this is the time you want to be around people that are going to say the things you want to hear, that are going to say the things that you just want them to agree with you on, but you want people around you that really expand your thinking and cause you to be challenged in the way you handle things, the way you act, the way you talk, and all the things that you do. And so this is a very important time for you because there are greater things that are waiting on you. But the question is, why are you leaning on something that you cannot glean from? Why are you connected to something that cannot place deposits in your life or increase your way of thinking? So this is so critical and so timely because you know you are in certain relationships and you are dealing with certain situations that really are not doing anything. It's like you're in this place and it's that same place you always been doing the same thing. There's no excitement. There's no thrill. There's no adventure. And so now it's just like, okay, I'm in that place again and nothing is growing. So what do I do? Well, again, are you growing? Are you growing? Are you receiving more? Let me put it to you like this. Are you investing more into the person or the situation than the person and the situation is investing in you? And if there is what I call a situation where it's unbalanced or there is what I call instability, then you got to reevaluate what are you doing? So the question is, are you ready to make some moves? You know, a lot of times we say we're making big moves, but the question is, are you ready to make these moves? And if you are, then listen, let me tell you, this broadcast is going to be for you. So that's the first thing that I want to share with you. Now, before I go to the second part of what I want to talk about, I want to remind you again to make sure you register for Rejection 101. Make sure you register for Rejection 101. So now let's talk about point number 2. The first one I already told you about, again, in recapping, is that you got to make sure that you have investors around you. When I say investors, I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about investors. I'm talking about the time, the energy, the thought, just the fact of the realness. You really want realness around you. You know, I realized, Dear Burger followers and those who are my first timers, I realized something that sometimes people say, yeah, I want someone to be real with me. But then when you're real with them or when they have the experience of having someone that's very real with them, they cannot handle it. They become either offensive or defensive, or sometimes they're run. Because when you've been used to always being pacified or always been given information that's sugar-coated, when someone is very direct or someone that just tell it like they see it, a lot of times you're not able to handle it. And I think what has happened for a lot of us, we've been brought up in situations where people have pampered us or they have tried to make sure that we were protected in our feelings and that we didn't have certain experiences when really it was damaging us because we needed those tough times in order to deal with the true, real things of life. And so the second part I want to share with you is make sure you understand what gleaning involves, which most people don't know. But when you begin to look at what gleaning involves, it's a slow gathering. So it's not something that happens fast. It's a gradual gathering. It's something that you gradually pick up, learn from, and what I call move into. And so what I find is that most people are looking for fast relationships. When you get in a relationship or when you connect with a group or connect with a situation, it's like we want fast results. But really gleaming is when you take the time to soak in all the things that is involving in that gathering. And so one of the things we have to make sure that we're not making friends too fast. We also got to make sure that we're not trying to build relationships or get involved in situations too quickly, that sometimes it will backfire. Okay, I'm gonna ask you a hard question, but really it's not hard. I just want you to be truthful with yourself. How many of you got in relationships too quick? And when you got in a relationship, you moved so fast that you begin to skip over things that you should have caught. Well, one of the things and one of the reasons why you missed those things because you wanted a quick fix and you didn't want to take time to glean. And a lot of times when you glean, it's not that necessarily going to be all the things you want, but you learn in that process by moving slow. And I found out that there's more power in moving slow than it is in fast. Now, yes, it takes more force, watch this, to move fast in anything scientifically, but what people don't understand is that something endures better when it's a slower process. The slower it is, the more you can receive. And so one of the things, point two, what I want to talk about is when you're gleaning for whatever group or individual, you want to take your time and build. When you quickly build, it will quickly fall down. It kind of reminds me of the story of the three little pigs. I mean, I know a lot of you have heard of Three Little Pigs, right? Yeah, I'm going to talk about kids' story now. But think about the three pigs, that you had one pig that did straw, one did, I think was sand or hay, and then you had the third one that did brick, right? Well, the one that did the brick took much longer than the other ones, right? And it took time to build it. But the other two was like, oh, you're taking so long, you're taking you forever, you're so far behind. Is that pig was building a structure that will hold during difficult times. And what has happened, we're so involved in so many relationships that we find that they're not holding us up in those difficult times. It tends to be that when you have a relationship or you have a connection or situation that does not honor the process of gleaming and taking the time in building, that anytime something hard comes or adversity comes or challenges come, it begins to shatter and break down. You find this with marriages, you find this with friendships, you find this with working colleague relationships, business relationship, even business deals. If things are not built in a timely manner and with the idea in mind of taking the time to learn and strategize, then you're going to find that some things will crumble down. I want you to make better decisions in your life. In other words, sometimes we want to rush into things and move quickly, not understanding that when we move quickly, we take away the process of gleaming and the benefit of gleaming. Gleaming can be really, really what I call a great tool to have, or a great opportunity and experience to even encounter. But what I find is that we as leaders are wanting a quick fix. And we find that's how the world is. Everything is a quick fix. Give it to me quick and I'm good. But when that happens, you miss some very important parts that can really help you. And so what I want to do is emphasize on part two that this is going to be a time for you to slowly reflect and think about where you are, who is around you or who are around you. And the third thing you got to think about, where are you going? What is around you? Who are around you? Watch this on who is around you and where you're about to go. Those three things are critical because they all need to align with one another. Let me give you an example. If the people that are around you do not align to where you're going, that's X number. That's that letter X. Okay, that's the first X. Number two, if where you are is, watch this, is where the people with you are not, that's another X. Because how are they going to take you somewhere they're already behind you? No one that's standing behind you or moving behind you or not caught up where you are can take you into the next place because they're already behind. And what you will find, you will begin to, watch this, downgrade yourself and compromise to meet them where they are, and you're moving further and further away from the place you are to go. And so now you got to look at that. The third X that can come about is that the people that are around you or situations around you cannot see where you're going. They will never understand you. And a lot of us, including me, have had the experience that it wasn't that it was really we were going in the wrong direction or we didn't have what we needed. We just had people and situations around us that could not understand where we were going or who we are. So in that case, if they cannot understand who you are and where you're going, they really can't give you information. They really can't teach you anything, or they can build you anywhere. Now, I always believe that anybody that's in your life has a purpose in your life, but the purpose may not, watch this, go along to where you're going. The purpose could be teaching you what it is that you're not to do when you get to where you're going. So you have to understand that this is going to be a place and time in your life that not only evaluation, but the process is necessary. Don't rush things. And the reason I'm saying this, because a lot of you have been leaning on, relying on, depending on people, situations, when the whole time they don't qualify for you to even lean on. How are you going to lean on someone or something that don't have the strength nor power to hold you up and don't even have the understanding or the information or the education, I'm just being honest, or the level of knowledge to help you to stand up? If you are in a situation that you always having to pour out and you end up always being empty, that's one of the signs this is not the situation or person you have to lean on, that you need to lean on. You cannot glean from something that don't have anything in their bag. You cannot pick up anything from someone who don't have nothing to pick up. And so what happens is that a lot of times we take on something that, watch this, is supposed to be temporary to make it a permanent project. Can I say that again? Write that in the box. That was good. We take on things a lot of times that was intended to be temporary, but we end up making it a permanent project. So you find yourself constantly pouring out, doing things, building the other person when that time should have been used for you building yourself. Why would I sacrifice myself and building myself because I can't do it because I'm so busy trying to get you together? Your responsibility in life is never to get anybody else together. Your responsibility in life is not only to encourage them, but most importantly, to give them the asset or give them the what I call the level of knowledge to make them think for themselves. What happens, we try to do things for people, but we don't teach or get it to think for themselves. Give them the information. It's up to them to implement the information. I'm going to say that again. Put that in the box. Give them the information, but let them have the opportunity to implement what you've given them through the information. You have to stop pacifying and you have to stop babysitting individuals and situations that are not trying to, watch this, take you to the place you need to go. Now, I believe we help each other, but a lot of times in many relationships, you will find is always one-sided. And some of you are so disappointed because the people or situations around you did not meet your expectation. Are you one of those that always give to them or always give to the situation, but you never get that return back to you? Again, that's an indication. You cannot lean in that direction. Somebody put in the box, you cannot lean in that direction because that direction is not going to your destiny. That direction is not in the journey you're to go in. You have to be careful with that. This goes with business. This goes with the medical field. This goes with education, whether you're in the ministry, whatever your field may be. These strategies and ideas and thoughts apply to any sector in life, any world system, and we have to identify that, okay? So that is one of the points I want to make to you, is that you got to watch your process and take things slow. And don't be quick to judge. Don't be quick to try to figure things out. One of the things I heard someone said, and I want you to write this down, I thought it was very powerful, and I kind of switch it up a little bit. Never, watch this, never allow your analysis to become a paralysis. Put that in the box. Never allow your analysis to end up becoming what I call a paralysis. And what I mean by that, we can become so analytical that it can paralyze us and it can hinder us because we're so critical, not even all of ourselves, because I've been guilty of that. I'm very critical a lot of times of myself. I have many people around me that say, you know, Doc, you're very critical of yourself, but you cannot allow you being critical of yourself and very analytical of yourself to paralyze you. Most importantly, you cannot be so analytical with situations around you that you miss the whole message or that you miss the whole lesson. It is something when you can be around situations that are true moments of lessons and you miss it. Why? Because you're trying to work on a project. You're trying trying to work on somebody that is a project. You're not about projects. You're only about your promise. You're not about projects. Watch this. But you're about prevailing. You're not about promise, but it is about you being prosperous in life. And that's in any sector of world. That's not spiritual. You want to be prosperous in anything you do, anything you touch, anything you say. Everything you plan, everything you strategize shall be successful. But the only way it can be successful is that you got to be ready to stay within the process. All right? So that's what I want to talk about with number 2. So just want to take a quick moment. Thank you again for all those who are joining me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for all of you that's joining. Make sure while we're talking right now live, make sure you are registering for the Zoom that's going to follow right after this broadcast. We're going to have a private session on Zoom. It's free. So register free right now. It's right there in the box. Register free and be a part of our adult conversation with this topic. And when you come on, listen, we tell it like it is, but you must be 18 years and older to be a part of the Zoom session that's happening right after the session. Okay. Also remember to register for Rejection 101. The information as well is there on my Facebook page. Make sure you're part of that. Listen, I don't care who you are, what title you have, how much money you have, what your credentials are. You're going to have a time in your life you will bleed. And sometimes what people don't understand, that bleeding can be very damaging if you don't address it and don't have an understanding of it. So make sure you register. Also, make sure you like my YouTube page. Go and like my YouTube page. Y'all guys, listen, I need to see the thumbs. I need to see the hearts. What's happening? Show me the hearts. Show me the thumbs. And most importantly, like the page. I need some of you. Some of you are watching and you're skipping over and coming back. Don't be a spy, but I want you to participate and like right now. Like the page, like this post. Get the likes up, okay? And make sure you share it now. Let's talk about the last point that I want to make when we talk about Glean. Do not lean. That's our topic this week. For those that are just joining me, do not lean where you cannot glean. In other words, stop being in relationships that are not healthy, that are not benefiting you, that are not causing you and pushing you to grow. But most important, that they're not being real with you. We got a lot of things in life, I should say a lot of situations, and many of you have been a victim of this. And you may have been the perpetrator as well. I mean, there are times we make mistakes in our life and do things because we don't know better, or either we thought that that's the thing to do. But one of the things I've learned is that a lot of times individuals do not feel comfortable being with someone who is a straight shooter. And you really want someone in your life that is that way. Whether it makes you feel uneasy, that's okay. But you want someone that's going to be honest with you. You know, women, I'm going to tell you something. Coming up, listen, I'm going to just tell you the truth. Coming up, you know, I was a person, and still is, not a person that's really like a drinker, right? So when I was in college, everybody in college, all my colleagues knew she's the designated driver. When we went to the clubs, just call it like this, we went to the clubs and party, they knew I would not drink. So what did they do? They had me a part of their pack because they knew I was going to look out for them. I was going to get them home safely. And I was the one that was the level head. Why was I the level head? Because I went full of alcohol. And so I was that one that would say, hey, watch that. Don't do that. Don't fool with him. Don't do that. You know, and they wanted me to be there because they felt safe. But most importantly, they could depend on me. They know they could lean on me. They know I had their back. You need to have people that you don't have to think twice whether they have your back. Some of you are, I see some of you commenting on that already. You got to be sure now. I don't care how long you've known them. The question is, make sure these are individuals or situations, and I keep going back from individual situation because it may not be individual problem. It may be a situation you keep holding on to that you really need to let go. You're leaning on it, and it's not building you, it's not increasing you. Or it could be an individual, it could be a particular relationship, it could be that guy, that woman, that friend, whatever. It could be that church person. I don't know. It could be the person in your business, whatever it may be, someone in school with you, and you are in that particular connection with them because it's like it's the thing to do. Everybody's doing it. Why can't I do it? That's the problem. You're not everybody. And I think what we have done, this is my point 3, is that we have now become conducive to, watch this, our environment, but we don't understand that sometimes the environment we came in, was born into, is not the environment we're going to end up in. So what I realized is that we got to make some changes that from what is around us quickly, and we cannot be apologetic about it. You got to be ready to move and not constantly trying to explain yourself. How many of you always explaining yourself? You find yourself always explaining yourself. And one of the things I tell, and I'm going to call her out a little bit, my spiritual daughter, D, I always tell her, I said, stop explaining yourself. It is because sometimes we are around people, we always got to explain. We always got to justify. We always got to make sure they're okay. And you don't want to live a life been on eggshells that you always have to explain. You should not always have to explain. There's 1 or 2 things that are happening with you if you're always having to explain, making sure everybody's good, is that you're around situations and people that really don't understand you. Because if they understood you, you wouldn't have to explain so much. If they understood your heart, if they knew where you were going, if they knew your intention, you wouldn't do all this explaining. Do you know how much energy it takes to explain over and over and over? And then it's like you're still having to prove yourself. If you're always having to prove yourself with this individual, so this may not be the individual that you need to be gleaning from. How are you able to glean from somebody who do not even take time to glean from you? They're not even knowing who you are. I would never get involved with someone who does not take the time to learn me, but expect me to learn them. There has to be a point in your life where you say, you know what? This has been great. I enjoyed it. The lesson has been learned. I've been taught. But right now, where I'm at in my life, this may not work. And then you have some relationships that are powerful. They build you. You glean all the time. You can pull thought from. You know, how many of you have that girlfriend or guys? How many of you have that bro that you call? You say, look, let me throw this at you. Tell me what you think about this. And they keep it real with you. And they have the conversation with you. Like they tell you like it is. And sometimes they give you the answer you weren't expecting and you didn't want. But you can count on them to give you that information that make you think outside the box. That is the type of surrounding you want. Now, some of you may ask me, Doc, what is this having to do with anything? It has a lot to do with a lot of stuff, because if you don't have the right relationships around you, and you're trying to develop and grow in your business, you're trying to develop and grow in entrepreneurship or whatever you're trying to build and gain at this hour, you got to have people around you that can support you in that and don't put pressure on you where you got to compromise. Do I do this or do I spend time with you? Can I do this and you won't become mad at me? That's too much energy. That you should have relationships around you that if you don't talk to them for 3 weeks or 4 weeks, you're still good. Why? Because they understand you're in a place in your life where you're building. You don't have to have all of that. When you have someone you can glean from, a lot of times they can know right where you are before you even share it with them. Understanding that you're comfortable. You want to be in a place in your life now. You want to be comfortable. You don't need the tension. You don't need the stress. You don't need to make all these, what I call explanations, trying to explain to them why you're doing this, why you're doing that. That's exhausting. And when you're exhausted, you're not even in a position to glean from nobody, because you run out all the energy. You burn out all the energy you had dealing with this one situation or dealing with this one person. It's just too much. Somebody put in the box, that's just too much. That's just too much. So Dr. Dianna, the deal breaker, one of the things we want to break off you tonight is the fact that you have to make the decision, not that you have to just get rid of everyone that's in your life, or you got to get rid of people that may not do what you want to do. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying, that sometimes relationships can hinder your growth, and relationships can be one of the main things that's stopping you from moving forward. Why? Because you're so consumed in the relationship that you've now neglected yourself. You have neglected your goals. You have neglected your plans. You have neglected your vision. You have neglected your dreams. Why? Because you're taking all of your energy to supply and support what they desiring, but you leaving yourself on the shelf. And that's not the way it should be. There's so much you must do, and you don't need the distractions. So the question is again, why are you leaning on something that you cannot glean from? If you cannot grow by that connection, if you don't see any expansion, any extension, any increase, you have to begin now to evaluate, what are you doing with this particular relationship, and why are you in it? What is it that's in you that does not make you identify that this is not for you? I learned, and women, I'm going to go there, and it really is both men and women. It's just not women. We allow our loneliness to make us compromise for the first man that comes. And my question is, for the first man that comes, why are you compromising? First of all, this is not what you know is designed for you. And it's not that you, now let me make a statement. Let me make a disclaimer. I'm not saying that your idea of a man may be the man that's for you, but what I am saying is that a lot of times we'll just settle for anything because we just rather not be alone. But a lot of times, one of the reasons you may be by yourself or alone, and I had to learn this because I'm a single woman. Hello, man, if you're single. No, one of the things I had to learn as a single woman, that sometimes you are put in the position to give time to yourself, to establish yourself, to build yourself into place and not have all these distractions. You got to be worried about checking in here, checking in there, got to go here, got to go there. Oh, I don't want him mad. Oh, I got to rush back. I got this to do. I got that to do. You don't want to be in a position where you're having to move everything to the side. Now, don't get me wrong. You got to learn how to balance. You got to learn how to make sure that you're leveling things out in your life. But when you're in that place, you're building and you're structuring, you have to be careful that you don't have all these distractions around you. You got to be attached to things and situations and people that have you where you need to be to get you to the place where you're supposed to go. So one of the things I want to say before we get ready for Zoom, because guys, listen, some of you, thank you. Some of you are already registering. Thank you. I see some of you already jumped onto Zoom. Thank you. Go ahead and jump onto Zoom now. We're going to have a great conversation in the next 3 minutes. So go ahead and jump on the Zoom. While I begin to close out this particular broadcast on this week, one of the things I want to encourage all of you, all of my supporters, all of you that take the time every Thursday to tap in. I want you to hear me, and I want you to hear me what I call carefully. I want you to understand that this is the time that you face the fears you may have had, and to understand that decisions in this hour are very critical, because for the simple fact of this, when you begin to focus on what it is that you're needing in life, there's going to always be a drop off. You cannot get upset with the drop off. And I'm going to go. Sometimes it may be your family. There will be a drop off. Sometimes it may be them folks you're going to church with. There will be a drop off. Sometimes it may be the person you were friends with for years. Sometimes there will be a drop off. It comes with the territory. Are you supposed to feel bad? No. It's not only a great thing that it happened, for the simple fact of this is that those memories, those times you learn, you build, they have poured into you, whether it was for temporary purposes or whether it was a permanent purpose. But do not allow this place in your life where you have projects all around you. I'm not talking about your vision project. I'm talking about projects, distractions around you. You're so busy fixing everybody else up that you're beginning to keep yourself broke. In the box, I refuse to fix everybody else, but yet I remain broken. I'm going to say it again. I refuse to always fixing everybody else, helping everybody else, building everybody else, being a cheerleader for everybody else, working on the back of the scenes for everybody else. But I do not take the time to build myself. You cannot do that. Okay? Listen, guys, thank you so much for being a part of Deal Breaker tonight. Visit me here every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on this platform. For my YouTubers, I didn't forget you. I love you, YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. And again, make sure you register for Rejection 101. And until next Thursday, everybody, come on. That's it. Like. Make sure you like. Make sure you share. And for everyone else, come on, let's go. Let's go up to the Zoom. I want to see you over there. See you guys. See you next Thursday. Bye.